I know y'all remember Victoria's Secret Karen. Well, this woman, she took being Karen to a whole new level. this was it was it was terrible but kind of funny at the same time. So this has come back in the news. So, many of you remember this happened at a shopping mall, Victoria's Secret in New Jersey. Gioma Ukenta was the African woman that was in Victoria's Secret, and Abigail Elphick, she's Karen that you see the picture of, got too close to her and she was asking her to move back. Elphick complained to the cashier. Miss Ukenta began recording the incident on her phone. The drama escalated quickly from there. Elphick, who is white, lunged at Miss Ukenta, who is black. Then she fell on the floor and busted out in tears, sobbing and begging her to stop recording and having a mental breakdown. Now, y'all remember she also lied to those police officers. So Miss Ukenta summons the security guard, Miss Elphick, called the police for 15 minutes. The recording continued. The viewers of what quickly turned into a viral video, Miss Elphick became known as Victoria's Secret Karen, a villain in a now familiar online fare. Yeah, yeah, a long string of Karen videos online, that's for sure. But people watching online or at the store as the episode played out did not know Miss Elphick was disabled. I sense somebody trying to drum up some sympathy from this. With a long history of medical and psychological conditions, according to legal filing that shed new light on the encounter. Okay, well, what was the reason why she was out with no supervision if she got this long history and she's out in public having meltdowns like this? Such shaming videos have emerged in recent years as potent tools for exposing the casual and routine racism that Black people face in their daily lives. But 2 years after the Victoria's Secret incident, the court documents filed in the recent weeks show how they also distort complicated interactions, reducing them to two-dimensional accounts. Miss Elphick, 27, lives in a complex reserved for residents for intellectual and developmental disabilities. Her behavior stems from not a race based problem, according to the complaint filed by her lawyers, but from fear that being filmed would lead to a loss of her apartment and job. Then why not just leave people alone? Leave people alone. Miss Ukenta in her lawsuit also described being motivated by fear, keenly aware that if the police were called, she, a Black woman, may not be believed. At the time, it was July 2021 when this encounter took place. Miss Ukenta had established an online presence and a YouTube channel where she offered vignettes about, okay, so she does gardening, food, and travel, and cultural events. All right, so I get it. That's what she does. In Newark, where she lives, Newark, New Jersey. She posted the Victoria's Secret video in installments on several social media sites and the brief encounter at the mall at Short Hills in Milburn, one of the wealthiest communities in New Jersey. Actually, it's one of, they're right. It's not Alpine, New Jersey is the most wealthiest town in all of New Jersey, Alpine, New Jersey. So anyway, Miss Ukenta first video, Karen Goes Crazy Part 1, was viewed 2.6 million times on YouTube. An unrelated YouTube channel, Public Freakouts, unleashed it and it ranked number 1, and it is on the top 25 most notorious Karen videos of all time. I didn't know such a list existed. Okay. A GoFundMe campaign for Miss Ukenta was created. I remember that. And she was able to raise $104,000. Okay, so she could defend herself against this Karen. The incident was held as an extreme example of Karen memes and the encounter between a black person and a white woman, in which the white woman calls the authority, potentially endangering the black person as a result. This is how they get us killed. You see that, Miss Ukenta says in the video. But the clash and its aftermath were even more complicated, they seem. In July, Miss Ukenta filed a lawsuit against Miss Elphick, Victoria's Secret, and the mall and its security company, which she argued were grossly negligent, slow to respond, and treat her as an antagonist rather than a victim of a fellow shopper attempted assault. In the video, Miss Ukenta can be heard asking why the security officers who did not appear until the store employee goes to fetch them are taking so long to arrive. With all the screaming Abigail Elphick was doing up in that store, they didn't want to come out. I'm sorry, I don't see how they didn't hear her. So anyway, um, they were extremely dismissive towards her, Miss Ukenta complaint states. They were indifferent and nonchalant about her concerns for her safety. When the police arrived, Miss Elphick told the officer that her panic stems from a fear that the video would be published and cause her to lose her job and her apartment, according to the police report. Mm-mm-mm. As images of Miss Elphick ricocheted around the world, online commentator urged fellow viewers to contact the school district where Miss Elphick had an internship to demand that their racist employee be fired. She began getting harassing calls as recently as April, contacted the police to report that a man who referred to the Victoria's Secret video had called her and threatened to grape and unalive her, according to court records. Yeah, but this woman, she didn't tell the truth from the jump. Y'all remember she tried to claim that her father was a cop, and when they went to look, they said her father was not a cop. Then there was some issue with her not giving her correct name to the officers. Yeah, so ah, I'll take anything she say with a grain of salt. I was horrified. Tom Toronto, president of Bergen County United Way, which runs the residential complex where Miss Elphick lives, said about the video aftermath and what he called a total loss of perspective and proportion. She has a disorder. She has anxiety, he said. She had a meltdown. Then the world we live in took over and it became something entirely different than what it actually was. Well, if she has those kind of meltdowns, don't you think maybe somebody should be with her when she's out and about? If she's having total meltdowns like that, all over the floor in the store, screaming and hollering, how is it that she's going out on her own and not with any kind of supervision or another adult? I'm just asking. Miss Elphick, through her attorney, declined to comment. So they're trying to, so they're trying to say this is all mental illness and she has these problems. Okay. All right. But, there's no mention of past problems like this, but let me go on. None of the videos of Miss Ukenta YouTube channel have had more viewers than those centered on Miss Elphick's behavior. And her YouTube channel now has more than 26,000 subscribers. Miss Elphick counterclaim argues that her right to privacy was violated by Miss Ukenta, shared personal information about her, but the legal filing also highlights newer unrelated videos Miss Ukenta had published since the Short Hills Mall incident that are critical of a landlord and several retail stores. The filing points to the videos as evidence that she pursued a broader pattern of harassment. Ugenta has made a job out of preying on individuals behind a keyboard, the complaint states. So they're kind of counter-suing each other. That's what's going on, citing hate while taking advantage of victims and the public at large for her own financial gain. It is an accusation that Miss Ukenta lawyer Tracy C. Henson rejects, and one that she only underscores the wisdom of the impulse that led Miss Ukenta to refuse to stop recording in the first place. She knew that in Milburn, New Jersey, she would not be believed, Miss Henson said, and that is exactly what has transpired. Miss Ukenta has also continued to push videos that do not depict conflict, including positive dining and shopping experiences. Lawyers for the lingerie store and the security company did not reply to requests for comment. A lawyer for the mall declined to comment, citing the lawsuit. So it is unclear how Miss Ukenta used the money she raised through GoFundMe. When reached out by phone, she said she was not able to immediately discuss that. Well, why is it that when Black people raise money, y'all are sitting there pocket watching? I wouldn't answer your question either. So, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Ukenta said online she believed it was only fair that she should benefit financially from video content widely viewed on social media. Why wouldn't I want to make money off of my videos if everyone else is? She wrote on X, the site formerly known as Twitter, 2 months after the incident. Ms. Henson said she could not quantify how much income, if any, Miss Ukenta earned from online activity. She stressed that her client's social media presence it was irrelevant to the recorded reaction at Victoria's Secret. It's her right, Henson said. She has the right to let the public know what's happened to her. This is nothing but a ploy designed to disparage, she said. This is what her attorney is saying. Videos of white women who are quick to either cry or call the authorities, usually on people of color, become common during the pandemic, increased in frequency as protest over the police killing of George Floyd, a Black man. And yeah, I'll say, okay, in 2018, a San Francisco woman who called the authorities about a Black girl selling bottled water, and a New York woman with an unleashed dog dial 911, who I did a video on, after an intense encounter with a black bird watcher in Central Park. Amy Cooper and Christian Cooper became notorious early examples. April Williams, an assistant professor at the University of Michigan, who studied the videos that depict white women as entitled aggressors, said so called Karen memes can serve as a valuable role in the struggle for racial equity, that they have appeared less frequent in the last year, she said, was an indication that they can be effective tools for exposing racism. People have learned that there on social media, ramifications for being noted as a Karen, she said, referred to the potential loss of employment and social standing. Professor Williams said she was not familiar with Miss Ukenta's YouTube channel or her other videos, but their volume does not invalidate the behavior depicted, she said. Sure, maybe it generates money for her, Professor Williams said, but maybe she's saying this is Karen behavior and I'm documenting it for everybody to see. It is unsurprising that Victoria's Secret Karen has remained a cultural touchstone even 2 years after the incident, according to the academics who study media anthropology. Online posts that highlight heightened emotions, anger, outrage, or disgust tend to spread furthest and fastest, said James P. Walsh, director of a graduate. Um, he's at Toronto Tech University. So, mm-mm-mm. It looks like the moral of this story is they're trying to use her mental breakdown. She was, not being a racist, but she was having a mental breakdown, a meltdown. That's the defense her attorney is using. And Miss Ukenta is saying she felt threatened. That's why she took her phone out. She said when this woman came in the line, she got on top of her practically. And y'all remember, even in the store, she even tried to lay hands on this sister, on this woman. And I remember watching the video. Some of y'all might remember. So anytime somebody tries to get physical, yeah, she had every right to record it. So y'all, let me know what you think about this latest update. Mm-mm-mm. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.